Hello, what is happening? It feels like it's been a long time since football's been on. I know it's only been like 2 weeks, but it feels like it's been the longest 2 weeks between games. I've been doing a lot, like playing a lot of COD, playing FM. It feels like football, it's been like forever since it's been on. But thank God it's back. The international weekend's over. Obviously, England had their fixtures where Leicester, Belgium, but that's very impressive against Iceland. And we've also got a very tough round of fixtures for some teams, but we're going to go through them, of course, with the start with Newcastle versus Chelsea. I said in the last Newcastle home game they have a lot of penalties in their games, and this is the reason why I've gone for a penalty prediction in this. It's odds on for it to happen. I've gone for a Chelsea 1-0. I think Chelsea will probably keep a clean sheet again. I think Newcastle are gonna be they're gonna be like a rearguard action. They're just gonna defend all the time, and then Chelsea are gonna be too strong going forward to where they will get the goal. And I think if a penalty happens, then I look like a genius. So hopefully it does, but that's what I'm going for. Just a Chelsea 1-0. It's gonna be a tighter game, but Chelsea in the past they've had problems going to Newcastle. So that's why I think a penalty is could go either way. But I think Chelsea are going to be too good defensively for Newcastle anyway. But it's going to be a very interesting tight one. There's no games as well, which is Friday. I mean, this video will come out on Saturday. I mean, it's like 7:30 Saturday morning right now, so this video is coming out in a few hours. But yeah, penalty, 1-0 Chelsea. Who scores that? Is it Jorginho? Or has they've changed takers? I can't remember. Next game, though, we have Aston Villa versus Brighton. Villa shocked me against Arsenal with the 3-0 win. Brighton have been like Brighton, they've been inconsistent, but they kind of look good. I've gone for both teams to score in this one because I do feel like Brighton are a threat going forward, but defensively they're still not great. And I think with Villa's impressive win against Arsenal, I think it's a good chance for them to kick on. And I think a lot of people are going to be having Villa on their predictions this weekend. It could be a coupon buster though. Villa being a little bit inconsistent the last couple of games at home against Leeds and Southampton when they conceded 7. But I think with this game, I think if they play like what they did against Arsenal, they should win this game. Not comfortably, but they should be the better team. But as you can see, Brighton do score a lot, but they have conceded a lot, and of course Villa have been scoring a lot of goals so far. Of course, the England new star man Jack Grealish is going to be one to watch in this game. The 5:30 kickoff is Spurs against City, the first big game this weekend. I'm not too sure where this one's going to go. I've gone for a Spurs plus 0.5, so what that means is pretty much Spurs or draw as a double chance. I don't know if I see City winning this game. I think with them not beating Liverpool, I don't know if they got it in them to go ahead and beat Spurs. I know it's like normally you would expect City to kind of win this type of game, but I think a draw is going to be a fair result. I was going to do both teams to score, but I've got a confidence in Spurs. Mourinho against Guardiola. Let me know what you guys think was the better manager out of Mourinho, Guardiola. I would honestly go with Guardiola due to the way that he plays football, but you can't go against Mourinho's record. I was a huge Mourinho fan until he came back to the Premier League with Chelsea for the second time. But he's kind of growing on me again. I think he's trying to be a lot happier at Spurs, but the time at United, he wasn't as happy. But he's still sometimes got the best of Guardiola, and I think he's got a better team than what he did at United, to where he can do something to which he did last year. Spurs did beat City at home. I think Bergwijn, he got his goal in his debut, but I think this is going to be a top game. I hope it is, but I just hope that. The one thing I hope that Spurs take the game to City. I think, sometimes when they do play against a big team like Liverpool and City, they are a little bit naive. So I really do hope they do turn up. And I hope City do as well, because I want a good game to watch. The late kickoff on Saturday is Manchester United versus West Brom. I can't see this going any other way than a Man United win. I think there's going to be goals in this game as well. I'm expecting United to kick on. I think West Brom are there for the taking. Defensively, they've already conceded 17, but I do feel like they will score a goal, but I have gone for an over 2.5. There's a few doubts there for United. I think there's a few plays. Let me just double check. Yeah, so Rashford, Martial, Maguire, Lindelof, Shaw's out as well, Bially's out. There's quite a few injuries which, maybe West Brom can take advantage of, to which United can maybe... maybe like missing some important players, especially the likes of Rashford himself. The man at the moment. At the moment, he's a great player. But hopefully, with the likes of Bruno, will carry United forward. They did beat Everton 3-1 away, so I thought a 3-1 home win against West Brom. If United don't get a result here, I mean, Ollie saved his job last week, the week before with Everton. But if he goes and doesn't get a result against West Brom at all, I think every game is the possibility of being the last game for Ollie. And maybe West Brom can spring a surprise. They did go 3-up against Chelsea earlier on in the season. Is it possible they can do something today at Old Trafford and get the first win of the season? Moving on to Sunday, the early kickoff is Fulham against Everton. I think Everton are going to go back to winning ways. I have gone for both teams to score. I think this could possibly be a score draw. Fulham, they did look alright against West Ham in the last game away. I was impressed, and unfortunately Lookman had, his penalty issue, which he did. I don't think he'll be taking the penalties if they do get one. But I think Everton are going to be a little bit too strong for Fulham. I hope they are. They've got the likes of Richarlison back. Allen's questionable, Coleman's questionable, but I think they're going to be back to a full squad for Everton. And comparing the two teams, regardless of where it is, I think Everton are going to be a little bit too strong. But who knows with Fulham? And that's why I've gone for both teams to score. I think they did impress me. They have surprised me in the last couple of weeks. They got that win against West Brom. They was unlucky to not get a point against West Ham. And I think if they can just try and get a result out of this game, it will be a good point for them. Next game is Sheffield United against West Ham. A very difficult game to predict. I think with West Ham, they've been impressive. So far this season, they've only had one bad game. I think that's the Newcastle game. But every other game, they've been pretty good. There was a little bit flat during periods against Fulham, but they were slightly the better team. Sheffield United are very difficult defensively, but they are there for the taking as Chelsea hammered them. It was Chelsea that got beat, wasn't it, last week? The week before. They have conceded a lot compared to me saying that they do not concede a lot. But I don't think West Ham have got, what Chelsea have going forward to kind of create the problems which they do. I think it'll be a tight game. I think this could be one of the games where it could be like a 0-0 or a 1-0 either way. But I think for West Ham's sake, I think for them to really prove that they are about it this season, this is a game that they do need to go and win against a team that is bottom of the league and is struggling. Now a very, very interesting fixture, and I know it's 15th against 11th, but Leeds were very tipped to, be like a top 10 kind of team. They've struggled slightly. The last couple of games, they did get battered 4-1 by Palace and by Leicester. Arsenal, of course, their shock result to Villa losing 3-0, and they're kind of been very, very flat. They haven't really scored too much. I'm going for Leeds on this one. I think they've scored more, despite they have conceded more. I just think they will create more, they'll have more of the ball. But it might suit Arsenal because they are playing this kind of counter-attacking kind of football. But I think Leeds are expected a victory against one of the bigger teams, and I think this is where it will happen. I think more questions are going to be asked of Arteta. I think it's Calvin Phillips back. Calvin Phillips is possibly back. Rodrigo is out, so it's a possibility. Calvin Phillips is back, then it'll be a huge bonus for them. But for Arsenal, Thomas Partey is a concern. So is Colin Chambers. Obviously, Ozil's out. Martinelli. They've got a few players like El Neni and Kolasinac who have got corona. They've got the coronavirus. Also, Willian. I think he has to do a COVID test. I'm not too sure if he's done it yet, because he was spotted in Dubai. I think it was with the Salt Bay guy. Doing that during while the whole country's in a pandemic was kind of an interesting move. But either way, Willian could be out as well. But I think with the way that Arsenal are playing at the moment, they are really there for the taking. And with the way that Leeds play, they do take advantage of teams who do look vulnerable. And at the moment, Arsenal do look vulnerable. I have gone for a Leeds plus 0.5, so it's pretty much Leeds Leeds or a draw. I think it'll be interesting to see how Arsenal do play in this game. I'm very, very intrigued how Arteta does it. I think will the counter-attack suit them? But I think Leeds need to be a little bit more sure at the back compared to previous games. Now, probably the biggest game of the weekend is Liverpool against Leicester. This is the late kickoff on Sunday. Liverpool are flooded with injuries. Obviously, Reece Williams and the newest one. John Anderson's possibility, Fabinho, Thiago, Van Dijk, Salah, Oxlade-Chamberlain, Trent, Joe Gomez, a lot of first team players, and Liverpool is just the first real season where they have been plagued with injuries. Through quality players, with the likes of Salah and Van Dijk, Trent, and Fabinho, Jordan Henderson, very important players to Liverpool in the way that they play. I've gone for a draw or Leicester. I think Leicester are very good odds to go and win this game. I think this suits Leicester. A Liverpool team which is, kind of shaken up, and a Leicester team that counterattacks, and probably the best counterattacking team in the league. I think, Jamie Vardy could have a field day, depending on what kind of centre-backs Liverpool go out with. I think Matip is back, but with the likes of Joe Gomez, Van Dijk, with Williams and Fabinho, it'll be interesting to see how the Liverpool defence does shake up. As I say, it could really be a field day for Leicester. This could be a shock result, but I'm not too sure, because I do feel like Liverpool do have the resilience throughout the squad regardless to, compete with Leicester. And I think Leicester are, of course, top of the league. This is going to be fascinating. I'm really excited for this game. It'll be because Liverpool haven't really been too convincing in the league. In the Champions League, they've been good, but in the league, they've been kind of just scraping wins, like they did against West Ham, like what they did against Sheffield United. Obviously, they've got a good point against City, but it's not like convincing, but they still are grabbing those wins. And if Liverpool manage to win this game, this makes them clear for the title, regardless of anybody else around them. I think, it just kind of shows the quality and depth which they do have in a squad, to which, they do need to show with like 8 or 9 first team players. That's a possibility of being out. But a very interesting game, and a very good time for Leicester to play Liverpool. Moving on to Monday, we have Burnley against Palace. Probably one of the most unexciting games we could ever think of. Palace away are pretty poor. Burnley at home, well, Burnley in general are very poor. But I'm looking at Crystal Palace, they've got like 8 players out. I mean, they've got Nathan Ferguson, who's a new signing. They've got Wayne Hennessy, I think it's James McCarthy, Miljovic is banned, Tariq Mitchell, the left back, James Tompkins, Ward's out, and Connor Wickham's out as well. They've got quite a few players out, do Palace, and I've gone for this one as a both teams to score no. I think this is another one which could be a 0-0. I'm not really excited. I'm glad I'm not really going to be watching this game. It is on a Monday night. I don't really watch the Monday night games, so they're not always the most exciting ones. Especially the one like 5:30. It's always probably the 2 shittest teams, or the worst possible fixture that could be is usually put in at this slot, because nobody really wants to watch this. On Monday straight after work. Burnley Palace, no thanks. But the games are free now, so that's the only bonus I could really say. Hopefully this could surprise everybody and be the game of the weekend, but I just really cannot see it. Last game of the weekend is Wolves against Southampton, and this is a big game. Big game for both teams to really consolidate or really show where they are at this season. Wolves have, a lot of people do have them tipped to be right up there. I do have them predicted to be 9th, and if the season finished now, I'd be pretty proud of myself. But they barely got the injuries. Connor Cody is ill. Johnny's still out. Danny Ings is out for Southampton. Ryan Bertrand possibly out. I've got both teams to score. I've gone for a 1-1. It's going to be very interesting to see how this happens, because Wolves do try and kind of suffocate teams, and they do very well at holding the ball. But Southampton on the counter are going to be very interesting. Without Danny Ings, though, I'm not too sure if they're going to be as prolific, but they were against Newcastle. It'll be an interesting game to watch as well. I think, I don't know if you can take too much from this game, but it's going to be interesting to see how both teams do kind of play and who does come out with the points. But I think a draw is probably looking a fair result. I think Southampton are looking very hot at the moment, and any kind of result for both teams I think would be good for either of them. But let me know what you guys think of the whole predictions. I've also got the bets, which I'll put in there as well. I'll put the full bets on the screen for you as well, so you can see what the stake, I think, is at £2.50, and then the return there is around about 1100. I've dropped it down ever so slightly because I don't really feel like there's any need to go bigger than like £5 or £10 on this, unless I was maybe getting some kind of sponsorship or anything like that. I think just keeping it nice and low. If 1100 quid comes in, then no one's gonna complain about putting more money on that. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. think. Let me know what you guys think of some of the big fixtures. Spurs City, Liverpool, Leicester, Arsenal against Leeds. What's going to happen? Is United going to win against West Brom? Let me know what you all think in the comments below. Like if you do like if you do like it. Like if you like the video. See, I have two people to blame for me not being able to speak right now, which is Aaron and Hillary, because they're trying to make me take shots. It is 8 o'clock in the morning, so my friends are very bad at influences, but it is what it is, you know. We'll probably won't be doing this in the future. But I appreciate you guys watching. Subscribe if you want to see more. There'll be Football Manager, there'll be COD content, there'll be more football content. But yeah, I hope you guys have a good, safe weekend, and we'll see you guys on probably Tuesday. Goodbye.